Hey, for kicking my family out after they demanded I give my new house to my sister? My name is Hannah and I finally did it. After almost 8 years of living as if nice things did not exist, I bought my own house. 8 years of saying no to everything. No buying new clothes on impulse, no going to the movies every weekend, no dinners out, no vacations. While my friends posted photos from the beach or a weekend getaway, I ate instant ramen for dinner and hunted for clothes at Goodwill. I suppressed so many wants, I ignored so many cravings, but it was all worth it. The house is not huge, but it is mine. 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a decent kitchen, and a living room where more than just a sofa pushed against the wall can fit. The first time I walked in with the papers already signed, I burst into tears. Not in a pretty way. I cried like when your body just cannot hold it in anymore. The previous owners took good care of it, so it was not one of those stories of buying a place and then finding a world of problems. This was a turnkey, move-in ready, start fresh kind of deal. I bought it in a quiet suburb north of Chicago. I work in an office downtown, so it was a big change. It was not a house out of a magazine, but it was a real house with a yard with natural light with space to breathe. For me, that was the dream. The first week was a whirlwind of furniture stores, appliance deliveries, and running back and forth. No fancy things. I am still careful with my money, but now it was my turn to invest. I bought what was necessary. A sofa that would not destroy my back. A dining room set where more than 2 people could sit, a washer and dryer that actually worked, not one that sounded like it was about to launch into orbit. Every purchase felt like Christmas morning. And when I finished setting everything up, after 2 weeks of assembling furniture, cleaning, arranging, and deciding where each little thing went, I told myself, this deserves a celebration. A housewarming party. I had never done anything like this because honestly I had never had a place worth warming up. I made my guest list, friends from work, some from college, 2 neighbors I had already gotten to know a little. And of course my family. First, I texted my parents, my mom Brenda and my dad Robert. They live about an hour away in an older working-class suburb, in a small house that is practically falling down around them. I say an hour because without traffic that might be true, but with Chicago area traffic it can sometimes turn into much more. My dad has been saying for 3 years that he is going to fix the roof, and they are still putting out buckets when it rains. My mom complains that the kitchen is on its last legs every time I visit, which she also says is not often enough. Then I wrote to my sister Megan. She is 4 years older than me and is divorced with 3 children. Emily, Jacob, and the youngest Lily. They are between 7 and 10 years old. They are sweet kids, yes, but they are also a force of nature. Megan lives in a 2-bedroom apartment in a crowded part of the city. Her ex pays child support, so she works part-time in an office and is always talking about how tired she is, how hard everything is, and how nobody understands. My message was simple. Hey guys, great news. I bought a house. In 2 weeks I'm having a party to celebrate. I'll send you the address. I hope you can come. I'm so excited to show it to you. I expected the phone to ring right then. I thought my mom would call me to ask 1,000 questions. The neighborhood, the down payment, the mortgage. How did you do it? And how much is your monthly payment? I thought Megan would ask how many bedrooms, if there were good schools nearby, if there was space for the kids. I thought my dad would ask about the garage and the yard. But no. Nothing. Silence. As if I had not sent them anything. My friend Jessica called me 20 minutes later. Hannah, I can't believe it. You bought a house. Tell me everything. My coworker Michael messaged me in less than an hour. Congratulations. I knew all that saving was going to pay off for you. I can't wait to see it. But my family gave me nothing. Not a congratulations. Not a that is great. Not a single question. I spent my time checking my phone as if I were waiting for lab results. I thought maybe the text did not go through, maybe they were busy, maybe their phones died. Several days passed and it remained the same. No excitement, no curiosity, nothing. I tried not to overthink it. I was busy getting the house ready. I ordered catering in advance from a local Italian restaurant that does party trays. I ordered trays of lasagna, Caesar salad, garlic bread, and tiramisu. I bought sodas, sparkling water, a few bottles of wine, and also non-alcoholic drinks for those who did not drink. I decorated the living room without overdoing it. A couple of centerpieces, unscented candles, soft music playing. I wanted it to feel like a home, not an event hall. My friends were talking to me all the time. What should I bring? What time? Can I bring my partner? Will you give us a tour of the whole house? That excitement made the silence from my family a little less deafening. At times I convinced myself that maybe they just wanted to see it in person. The night before the party, I barely slept. I spent it walking around the house, fluffing pillows, checking that everything was clean, that there was no dust on the shelves, that the bathrooms had soap and fresh towels. This was a huge achievement for me, my first real big adult step, and I wanted to share it with the people I cared about. The day arrived faster than I thought. It was Saturday. I woke up at 6 in the morning with my heart racing. I started cleaning as if the health department were coming for an inspection. I vacuumed twice, arranged and rearranged the pillows. I checked that the towels were folded just right. I even made sure the toilet paper roll had that little folded triangle on the end. It made me laugh, and at the same time it made me incredibly nervous. The food arrived on time. 3 huge trays of lasagna, salad, bread, and the tiramisu. I set everything up in the dining room. I was still getting used to having real plates I bought from a department store, all matching, and glasses that were not the kind you get in a cheap multipack and get scratched after the first wash. I felt strange, as if I were playing house in someone else's life, but it also felt wonderful. People started arriving around 6. Jessica was the first one, with a bottle of wine and a huge smile. "Hannah, this is incredible. You really did it." She started walking around the living room, touching almost everything, as if she could not believe it was real. "Look at these floors and these windows. The light in here is beautiful." Michael arrived with his girlfriend, and they took a good while touring every corner. She opened and closed cabinet doors, peeked into the yard, and asked things I did not even know people asked. "Hey, the light comes into the kitchen so well. And this yard is perfect for a barbecue someday." Michael laughed and told me, "I told you so. All that hard work paid off." My college friend Tom arrived with his wife and their baby. They brought a wrapped gift, and when he hugged me, he whispered in my ear, "I remember when you started saving. You practically lived on the cheapest food just to put away a little more. Just look at where you are now." In less than an hour, my house was full. Laughter, conversations, people congratulating me on everything. For how I had arranged the furniture, for the kitchen, for how spacious it felt, for the yard. There was talk about hardware store recommendations, about how tedious it was to set up utilities, stories of first apartments, of nosy neighbors, of moving days that went wrong. It was the kind of beautiful noise that makes you feel supported. I had a lump in my throat, but the good kind, of pride, of relief, of a goal finally reached. And yet, every 5 minutes I glanced at my phone. Nothing. Not a call, not a text. I smiled on the outside, but inside a weird little knot was forming in my stomach. I made up excuses to peek out the window. I would walk toward the door as if to check if we needed ice, when in reality it was to see if they were coming. At 7:30, right when I was thinking they were definitely not coming, I heard a car door slam outside. I peeked out and saw my parents walking up the driveway. Behind them came Megan with the 3 kids. My heart jumped. I felt a wave of relief. I ran to open the door before they even knocked. "Mom, Dad, Megan, I'm so glad you came." I was starting to worry. But as soon as I saw them up close, something felt wrong, as if the whole mood had died. My mom barely looked at me. She did not smile. She just said drily, "Hannah." My dad gave me a quick, obligatory hug. And Megan ushered the kids into the living room without saying hello to me, as if I were not even there. She muttered something about behaving yourselves, and that was it. "I'm so glad you're here," I said, trying to keep the energy up. "Come on, I'll give you the tour." My mom turned to look at my dad and then at me, as if I had asked for something absurd. Then she answered coldly, "Not right now." They stayed in the living room, barely talking to anyone. They did not greet people properly. They did not ask anything. They did not say congratulations. It was as if they had come to run an errand. After a few minutes, Megan told the kids, "You guys stay here and behave. Don't touch anything." And she went towards the stairs alone. I stood there for a second, not knowing whether to follow her or not. The awkwardness won. I went back to my guests and pretended everything was fine. Megan came down about 20 minutes later, went straight to my parents, whispered something to them, and for the first time all night I saw my mom smile. It was not a smile for me. It was a satisfied smile, as if she had just confirmed something. Megan could not hold it in and blurted it out as if it were the most normal thing in the world. "Hey," she told me in a low voice, pointing towards the hallway. "That downstairs room would be perfect for the kids and the upstairs one, well, the master." I looked at her and felt a chill run down my spine. She did not say it like a compliment. She said it like someone who was already moving in. Half an hour later, Tom raised his glass and said, "All right, everyone, I think it's time for a toast. Today is Hannah's day." People gathered around. I felt that the beautiful moment was finally coming, the one I had imagined. And then my grandmother, Eleanor, my dad's mom, raised her glass first. She had actually arrived early, walking slowly, but with her sharp personality fully intact. "I am so proud of my granddaughter," she said. "Hannah worked like few people I know. She stuck to her budget, she sacrificed, and here she is. This house is proof that when you set your mind to something, you can achieve it." People clapped. Jessica toasted next, saying that I was the most determined person she knew. Michael spoke of my discipline. Several people said wonderful things. My eyes were already tearing up, and then my mom cleared her throat and stood up. Everything fell apart. I smiled out of habit. I thought finally. My mom looked at me with a face that seemed angry, not proud, and said loudly so everyone could hear, "There is nothing to congratulate here." I felt as if I had been punched in the stomach. She continued, "Hannah is behaving selfishly. She has a house with all this space for herself, while her sister, who has 3 children, is having such a hard time." No one knew whether to laugh nervously or to ask what was going on. My mom raised her voice, as if she were delivering an important public service announcement. "Megan is fighting for the well-being of her kids. She's tired, she's on her own, and Hannah, instead of supporting her, is holed up in here as if nothing is wrong. This should be for the family." I could not breathe. I could not believe she was saying that. In my house at my party. My mom even let her eyes well up with tears as if she were the victim. "Megan deserves this house more than Hannah. My grandchildren deserve space. They deserve a home like this." And as if they had rehearsed it, Megan went over to the kids and hugged them tightly, in an exaggerated way, like she was protecting them from a tragedy. Emily, Jacob, and Lily looked confused, but there they were, clinging to their mom, not understanding why I was not reacting. My mind went blank. Then my Aunt Carol, my mom's cousin, stood up and chimed in. "Well, yes, your mom is right, Hannah. Really think about it. You can manage with less. But those children, they actually need it." Eleanor stood up immediately, her voice steady. "No." The room fell silent for a second. My grandmother continued. "Hannah earned her house. No one has the right to come here and take it from her or pressure her. This belongs to her." And that is where the chaos started. Some people started in with the family comes first speech, saying things like, "Poor kids. How can you live all alone with so much space?" Others took my side. Jessica was practically yelling at my aunt. "This is insane. Hannah saved for 8 years." Michael was arguing with a distant cousin I did not even recognize, who was talking about moral obligation. I looked at my mom, my dad, and Megan. And that was the worst part. They were looking at each other with satisfied faces, as if the fight had gone exactly as they planned, as if this was what they were looking for. In the middle of the argument, my mom let out a dramatic sigh and said, "We don't want to ruin the party. Let's go." And they left just like that. They took the kids, walked out, and did not even turn to look back at me. They left me there with my house full of people fighting over something that was not even up for debate. The argument went on for about 20 more minutes. People started leaving in little groups, still bickering on the sidewalk. Some left feeling awkward. Others gave me a quick hug. Jessica stayed with me for a while, furious, not even knowing what to say. When the last person finally left, I was alone. My house, which an hour ago had been full of laughter, was now a disaster. Half-eaten plates of food on the table, glasses scattered around the living room, crumpled napkins on the floor, and me standing there motionless, looking at it all as if it were not mine. I started cleaning on autopilot, washed dishes without feeling the water on my hands. I picked up glasses as if I were a robot, and while I did, memories hit me of all the times I had helped my family with money. When my mom called me crying 3 years ago because a bill had piled up, and they did not know what to do. I wired them $2,000 from the savings I was building for my house. When my dad needed money to fix his truck, there went another $1,000. And when Megan got divorced and said she needed a good lawyer so her child support would be set up right, I gave her almost $5,000 in various payments between fees and paperwork so she would not be left with nothing. I always helped. Always in emergencies, for repairs, for legal fees, for just this one time. And when did they ever celebrate anything of mine? When did they ever tell me, "We're proud of you"? That night made it crystal clear. To them, I was not a daughter or a sister. I was a debit card, a resource, an ATM with feelings. I went to sleep late, exhausted, but my mind would not shut down. Every time I closed my eyes, I heard my mom's voice saying, "There is nothing to congratulate." At exactly 8 in the morning, the phone rang. I answered without looking at who it was. I do not know why. Maybe because a part of me expected an apology. "Have you thought about what happened yesterday?" my mom said, without a greeting, without a, "How are you?" without anything. "When are you going to give the house to your sister?" I froze. "Mom, you ruined my party. You humiliated me in front of everyone. And you're calling me to demand that I give away my house." "Don't be dramatic," she answered in a cold voice. "We're talking about doing the right thing. Megan has 3 kids. They need space. You're one single person living in a whole house. That's selfish." My hands were shaking. I worked 8 years for this. 8 years saving every dollar. Megan gets child support and works part-time. This house is mine. "You'll change your mind," my mom said, as if she were delivering a final verdict. "You'll understand that family comes before your little projects." And she hung up on me. I stared at my phone with a mix of anger and sadness that burned in my chest. A few days later, everything got much worse. Jessica called me at work with a tense voice. "Hannah, have you seen what your mom posted on Facebook?" "What did she post?" "Look right now." Honestly, I can't believe it. I opened Facebook with trembling fingers, and there it was at the top of my feed, as if it were the most important news in the world. First I saw the photos. Pictures of Megan's apartment in dark, gloomy lighting, taken to make it look sad. Scattered toys, things out of place, the kids with tired faces. Then pictures of my house, bright, spacious, with people smiling, and one where I was raising a glass. The text made my stomach tighten. It said that while some people celebrated in large, empty houses, her daughter Megan was struggling to give her children the best in difficult conditions. It said that it broke her heart to see her grandchildren suffer, while their aunt only thinks about herself. That Megan worked incredibly hard and deserved something better. That there were those who got everything easily and others who fought just to survive. It was a complete lie. I had been to Megan's apartment 1,000 times. It was not a palace, but it was fine, clean, comfortable in a decent area. Those photos were staged to manipulate people. The comments were already a dumpster fire. Relatives I barely ever saw were writing that I should be ashamed, that the kids come first, asking how I could sleep at night. My Aunt Carol left a huge comment about doing the right thing and being a good sister. And it was not just Facebook. In the family group chat, the same thing started, a barrage of messages. It was as if I were the villain in a TV drama. My phone would not stop ringing. Cousins, uncles, aunts, people I did not even remember calling to give me advice. A cousin, Jenna, called me crying, saying I was breaking the family apart. An uncle, Ben, left me a message saying I was disappointing everyone and that I had to fix it. I stopped answering. I blocked numbers. I turned my phone off for hours at a time. It got to the point where I thought about changing my number just to get some peace. Then my grandmother called me. "Hannah dear, can you come see me? We need to talk." I went to her house feeling completely defeated. Eleanor is 82 years old, but she is completely sharp. She lives alone in the same house where she raised my dad. When she saw my face, she did not even ask. She stood up and hugged me tightly. "Sit down, my girl. Tell me everything." I showed her the Facebook post. I told her about the party, the phone call, the text, the group chat, the comments. She barely uses social media, so she had not seen any of it. She looked at the photos calmly. Then she looked up and her eyes turned hard, but not at me. At them. "This is wrong," she said. "Your mother is manipulating you. She's putting you on display to pressure you." I let out a sigh that felt like I had been holding it for days. I feel like I'm going crazy, Grandma. Half the family thinks I have to give away what took me years to earn. Eleanor was quiet for a second and then said softly, "Your parents came to see me." My stomach dropped. "What for?" "They asked me to talk to you," she said, "to convince you to give the house to Megan. They thought you would listen to me." I looked down. I felt an old sadness, the kind that feels like it has been with you your whole life. "So you too." My grandmother smiled with a calmness that made me want to cry. "I told them no." I looked up. "I told them no," she repeated. "You earned that house. You made sacrifices. You managed your money. And Megan has spent years waiting for others to solve her problems. That's not fair." "But my mom says that family is supposed to support each other." "Yes," she interrupted me. "But supporting isn't humiliating, or taking what isn't yours, or forcing someone's hand. What your mother did at that party and what she did on social media is not support. It's emotional abuse." She made me tea and we talked for a long time. She reminded me of things I already knew, but that sometimes you need to hear from someone else, someone firm, that I had given them money time and again, that I was always there when they asked, and that on the other hand, whenever I had an achievement, my family minimized it or twisted it to their advantage. "You are not selfish for keeping what you earned," she told me. "It is not your job to fix the consequences of other people's decisions. Megan chose to have 3 children. Megan chose to work part-time. That is not your fault." For the first time in days, I was able to breathe without feeling like something was crushing my chest. When I was leaving, Eleanor squeezed my hand. "Don't let them break you. You stand firm. You'll see, everything will fall into place." I left her house with a little bit of peace. I kept repeating to myself, my grandmother is right. I am not wrong. Almost a week passed. I blocked several relatives. The wave of calls died down a bit. I started to feel more like myself. I thought that with time they would just get tired of it. And then, on a Friday afternoon, Eleanor sent me a message. "I'm coming over to your place tomorrow. Your mom, your dad, and Megan will be there. Don't be scared. This is to set things straight. You just listen." I stared at my phone for a long time. I felt nervous, yes, but I also felt something I had not felt for days. A little bit of backup. Saturday morning they knocked on the door. I looked through the peephole and there was Eleanor with my mom, my dad, and Megan trailing behind her. All of them with serious faces, as if they were coming to deliver some kind of official news, like an intervention. I opened the door, not because I wanted to, but out of respect for my grandmother. "Grandma, what's going on?" "We need to talk," she said. "Everyone sit down right here." I let them in with my heart pounding. Even though I knew they were coming, my hands were still sweating. My mom made herself comfortable as if she owned the place. My dad had a "we're finally going to resolve this" look on his face. Megan looked around with the same calculating expression from the party, as if she were measuring where she would put her furniture. We all sat in the dining room. Eleanor cleared her throat. "I have been thinking about this for the past few days," she said. "And I've made a decision." My mom leaned forward, almost with excitement. "That's good, Mom. It was about time you saw what's really going on." Eleanor ignored her and continued. "Yesterday I met with my attorney." My mom's face changed. So did Megan's. My dad smiled as if he was about to receive an award. "Yesterday I signed a new will," my grandmother said calmly. My mom's eyes widened in satisfaction. Megan sat up straight in her chair. I stayed perfectly still, not knowing where the blow was coming from. "I had planned to leave everything to Robert," Eleanor said, looking at my dad, "so he could divide it fairly between his daughters." My dad nodded quickly, as if that confirmed his status as a good man. "But what's happened has made it clear to me that that would not be fair at all," my grandmother continued. "So I've changed things." My mom's smile began to fade. Eleanor looked at me and said with a clear voice, "My savings, which are my entire life savings, around $350,000, are going to be in Hannah's name." No one said anything. Megan turned pale, then red. "What?" My mom stood up abruptly. "What do you mean in Hannah's name?" Eleanor did not flinch. "Just what I said. In Hannah's name. And my house will be split 50-50 between Hannah and Megan." Megan stood up too, as if the chair had burned her. "That's not fair. Hannah already has a house. I have kids. I need it more. Fair, my grandmother repeated, and her voice became harder. Hannah saved for 8 years. She worked, she went without, she managed her money. You have lived off child support and with the habit of letting others solve your problems. And on top of that, you wanted to take your sister's house away from her. That's what's unfair. My mom was shaking with rage. Mom, you can't do this. Megan needs that money more than Hannah. Hannah is selfish and you're rewarding her. I am rewarding effort and responsibility, Eleanor answered. Things that Hannah has actually learned. My dad finally spoke, trying to stay calm. Mom, but we're family. Everything is supposed to be equal. Eleanor looked at him as if she were finally tired of pretending. Equal? Was it equal when you helped pay for Megan's wedding, but never celebrated a single achievement for Hannah? Was it equal when you helped Megan with the kids for weeks at a time, but couldn't spare one weekend to help Hannah when she moved for the first time? I've seen it all. Don't act surprised. My mom stayed quiet, but you could tell she wanted to explode. Megan started to cry, but they were strange tears, more of anger than sadness. Grandma, think about your great-grandchildren, Megan said with a broken voice. They need stability, they need space. Hannah is just one person. Hannah earned her space, answered Eleanor. And if you really cared about your children's stability, you would be looking for ways to improve your own situation, not trying to take what their aunt built over years of hard work. My mom clenched her fists. If you do this, you're going to destroy the family. My grandmother smiled, but it was not a kind smile. It was an I've had enough smile. The family started to be destroyed when you decided to humiliate your daughter in public, and then put her on blast on social media to pressure her. I'm just preventing the damage from getting worse. Then she looked straight at my mom without blinking. And one more thing. If you don't delete that post and issue a public apology by noon tomorrow, I'm going back to my attorney and signing another will. My mom swallowed hard. And if that happens, my grandmother continued, there will be no splitting anything. Everything, absolutely everything will go to Hannah. Every dollar, every heirloom. And it will be legally binding. My dad was speechless. Megan opened her mouth but no sound came out. My mom was stunned. Eleanor pointed toward the door. You have until noon tomorrow to fix what you did. And right now you are getting out of Hannah's house. Now go and think very carefully about what kind of people you want to be. They left without another word. They walked out as if the world had collapsed on them. When I closed the door, my legs were shaking. I turned around and hugged my grandmother tightly. Thank you, I told her quietly. I can't believe you did that. Eleanor squeezed me against her chest. I should have done it years ago, my girl. I've watched them treat you like you were less than your whole life. That's over now. That afternoon my phone blew up. Texts, calls, voicemails. In less than an hour I had over 40 missed calls. Some were from my mom, others from my dad, others from Megan, and then the cousins and aunts started as if they had all received the same order. I did not answer. The next morning I woke up with my heart in my throat. I opened Facebook with a sense of dread. My mom had deleted the post and put up a new one. It was short, dry, and written as if through gritted teeth. It said she wanted to apologize to me for her comments about my home purchase, that it was wrong, and that she was proud of me. It was not a heartfelt apology, you could tell, but it was public. And for my mom to apologize in public was to swallow her pride in front of everyone. I knew it hurt her. That week my dad called me several times. Megan sent me incredibly long text messages. My mom did too. They wanted me to talk to Grandma to convince her to fix it, to not be so extreme, asking how this was possible. I did not answer. They left voicemails, some begging, others complaining. I deleted them all. For months have passed since that day. I am still living in my house. I love it more every week. I have decorated it just how I want. I have had dinners with friends, small quiet gatherings with no drama. I started a little garden in the yard. At first, some of the plants died. I learned. I tried again. Now every time I water them, I feel like I am taking care of something that cost me years of my life. My parents and Megan hardly reach out to me anymore. Every once in a while they will send a message like they are testing the waters, trying to see if I will talk to them again. I do not respond. And the strangest, most powerful thing is this. Ever since I put that distance between us, I am happier. I sleep better. I feel lighter. I realized that living in fear of disappointing people who were never proud of me anyway was a burden I no longer wanted to carry. My grandmother and I talk every week. We have become closer than we ever were. She listens to me, she advises me, and she never makes me feel guilty for simply existing. Sometimes I wonder if someday we will reconcile as a family, but to be honest, I do not know if I want to, because I have already seen who they are when I do not give them what they want. I already saw what they were capable of doing in my own home, in front of people who genuinely care about me. I worked 8 years for this home, and I will not let anyone take it away from me with emotional blackmail. For a long time, they treated me as if I existed to solve their problems, as if my effort did not count, as if my house were some prize that could be passed from hand to hand out of obligation. But not anymore. Now they know that with me, that does not work anymore. And I have finally understood that wanting peace does not make me a bad daughter or a bad sister. Just makes me free. Comment. Sometimes the hardest step we take is realizing that we are allowed to protect our peace. Setting clear boundaries with the people we love does not make us cold or selfish. It simply means we are learning to value our well-being just as much as we value theirs. True kindness starts with honoring the hard work and sacrifices you have made for your future. You cannot pour from an empty cup, and you are not responsible for fixing situations you did not create. It is perfectly fine to step back from any relationship that demands you to shrink so others can feel comfortable. Choosing to walk away from constant guilt trips is a powerful act of healing. I hope you always remember that your achievements are yours to celebrate, and your personal space is absolutely sacred. Please take a moment today to recognize your worth, and give yourself the credit you truly deserve. If you liked it, don't forget to leave a comment and support the channel by subscribing. See you in the upcoming stories.